In 2002, the Game Boy Color was pretty much dead. Its successor, the Game Boy Advance, was released the previous year and already established itself as the definitive form of handheld gaming. So, why would anyone want to release a game on a dated portable console? Well, WayForward didn't care because on June 2nd of 2002, they released an ambitious little title known as Shantae on the Game Boy Color. A Metroidvania-like game with quite a lot of depth considering the platform it was made on. In Shantae, the evil lady pirate Risky Boots attacks Scuttletown and steals Shantae's uncle's new invention, the steam engine, in order to conquer the 7 seas. As Scuttletown's resident guardian genie, it's up to her to find the 4 magical elements and prevent Risky Boots from powering the steam engine. Throughout her journey, Shantae will come across her friends who will lend her a helping hand, as well as other characters who she'll have some pretty funny moments with, such as Shantae's frustration with her friend Bolo's ignorance or Roddy Top's fascination with eating her brain. This is where the franchise got its start and much of its humor that it's seen in later games. Like I mentioned before, Shantae is a Metroidvania-like game, which means the game's levels are interconnected. Somewhat. Unlike most games of its kind where each location has multiple exits and entrances like a maze, the overworld's levels are side by side. Meaning to get to the next destination, all you have to do is travel from left to right or from right to left, depending on the objective. Occasionally you will have to climb down a ladder to reach someplace new. Still, that does not mean everything takes place on the overworld. In order to collect the 4 magical elements, you will need to travel and explore the 4 dungeons in the game. Each has unique puzzles to solve and bosses to fight. Now, puzzles and bosses aren't the only things that the dungeons harbor. Each dungeon also houses a captive guardian genie. Once rescued, they will teach Shantae how to use her genie powers to transform into various animals by dancing. They are the monkey which jumps really high and climbs up against walls, an elephant that could break through obstacles, the spider that could climb up against certain backgrounds, and finally the harpy who could fly anywhere. These transformations are essential to the discovery of hidden power-ups and skills. One thing, however, is the process of getting Shantae to transform is kind of annoying. In order for her to change, you need to push select to get her to start dancing. Then you'll need to push a time sequence of button presses. There are multiple dances to remember, and you end up looking at the pause menu not only to transform into the right animal, but also to teleport to a desired town. Plus, if you get the sequence wrong or miss at the timing, you'll need to start the process all over again. The whole thing is time consuming. Playing this game requires a little bit of luck. Controlling Shantae is easy enough, but due to the Game Boy's small screen, I found myself running into enemies or falling down bottomless pits because I couldn't react fast enough. However, after becoming familiar with the layout of the world, it became easier to navigate. Even so, fighting off bad guys is a pain. Some of them require multiple hits, or finding a pattern to the movements just to take them out. This is especially harder in the beginning of the game, when Shantae only has 3 hearts, limiting her ability to travel to various parts of the game due to how strong some of the monsters are, especially at night where they could take more hits to take out. Fighting does become easier once you reach the Water Town's shop, where you can find various accessories that will expand Shantae's moveset. These attacks are considerably more stronger than her hair whip, yet are pretty expensive, so the only way you can obtain these is by hoarding as many gems as possible. Which brings us to some of the ways you could collect gems for your power-up needs. The most common way to collect gems is by walking around and killing monsters. Every so often, after defeating one, they'll drop a gem either by adding 1 or 5 to the counter. It's very tedious and takes forever. Luckily, there are many games you can play that are much faster. Games such as dancing. This minigame is only available in Scuttletown Land only at night. It pretty much plays like a portable version of Dance Revolution. Just push the matching buttons that appear on screen. There are multiple There are multiple difficulties, and the higher the difficulty, the more money you can win. But if that's too slow for you, there's always the Gecko Chamber in Oasis Town. In this minigame, all you have to do is roll the dice and have a higher count than your opponent. The downside though is that you have to gamble some of your own money. But from what I read, there's a glitch which allows you to bid regardless if you have money or not. Despite being on a portable system, Shantae looks pretty good. All the colors are bright and graphics have a surprising amount of detail, especially for a Gameboy Color game. The animation brings the characters to life, adding to their personality. You get a real sense of who they are based on their movements. It's the same with Shantae's transformation. All her forms give you a real sense of what they are. The only other Game Boy Color game I could think about with more animation would be Tomb Raider. But that only has one character that's animated really well. The music in Shantae does not try to impress. It's good for what it does and does a pretty good job. It matches the mood and feel depending on location and time. Although it sounds fun, there's nothing memorable to note. The sound effects are pretty much what you expect from an 8-bit game. Nothing too impressive, but from what is here, it's pretty clean with no annoying noise. Overall, it sounds like an 80s retro game, and that's fine by my book. Despite some of its shortcomings, I give this game a B. There's plenty of replay value here, especially for those who want to find every little secret and power up. However, I don't think it merits a $400 asking price. If you really want to try this version out, you can download it on the 3DS eShop for $4.99. That's a hell of a lot cheaper than paying an arm and a leg on eBay. With that said, thank you guys for watching my video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and like always, have a good one. Take care, you guys.